Reed, your real life trader, and I'm here to remind you to be good. And by good, I mean get out of debt and achieve your financial dreams. It's March 4th, and this is the afternoon session of the real life trading floor. Jeremy Newsom is on vacation, and Angie and I have commandeered what's going on. And Angie's got people working at her house. Angie, how's it going over there? Are you there? Are you dealing with the people?
I
What's
am
going on?
here and the people are gone and the problem is solved. Yes.
Yay!
Yes.
Alrighty.
Easy. I know. Easy fix. I have my kitchen sink back. Yeah.
Kitchen sinks. Those are useful. So let's see. This morning we placed a couple of day trades. We did a trade on TiVo that, as you can see, was -1R, but it had a good bullish gap. We also placed a trade on Ambarella. Let's see. This is one that we set up, but we didn't actively take. Let me turn that one off. Let me see if I can turn that one off. Boom. Got to go boom whenever I do something right. So this morning we watched Ambarella. Let's take a look at the daily chart. So we saw this gap up based on an earnings, and it cleared this pivot point in through here very nicely, very, very nice. And then on the 5-minute chart in the morning session, we saw these wicks come down and bounce off the 10 like that. And then when we saw this guy right here, we said, hey, that is the bullish reversal. If it goes up higher than that, we went in. So we set our entry about there, and we set our protective stop below this one. And then we moved our protective stop up to there on that candle. 2R was, I think 2R was right about there. No, 2R was closer to the high of the day. 2R was up here. And then we moved our stop up to that swing low, and eventually we got trailed out. And as it made this little bearish move, so that was a great stop. Followed the plan, and that ended up being about 1.65R. And then it reversed and kept on going, and now it's pulling back. So I guess if you are really bullish on Ambarella, guys, you could, if you wanted to, do a little something like this. Maybe a little something like that. What would Jeremy do? He'd be like, something like that, something like that. You like that? You like that little cute little trade? All right, I'm trying to channel my Newsom. That's not quite a 2-to-1 by the high of the day, but this thing may have more of a bullish thrust. At any rate, that's what we did on Ambarella, Ella, A, Ambarella, Ella. Okay, and then another trade that we did was with Smith & Wesson. We've been watching this one in the afternoon session, hoping it's going to break bullish, but we just keep getting lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. And for my trading plan, it's got to make a higher high and a higher low before I can take it bullish again. The gap was amazingly bullish, had a gorgeous gap up after these three bearish candles. So bearish candle here, gap up, that is a gap and go. We had a nice bullish move through here after it gapped up after this consolidation pattern. Yeah, so I had a nice, really fast bullish run up, and then we had 3 days of selling to shake out the bulls that wanted to sell at a target, and they did that, and then it gapped up. So I expected lots of buying pressure. We traded this on the 1-minute chart this morning. Let me scroll back because there's been lots of minutes since this morning. But kind of like that Ambarella, Ella, A trade. Where is it? Where did you go? Yeah, we saw these two candles right down here below this pivot point, and this pivot point was drawn from about a couple of months ago. But we saw that wick and that wick get really close together, so we entered right there. Let's see, I've got my notes here. Was it 1419? 1412. So yeah, right about there by 14 was our trade setup. and that was 2R right there. So we hit 2R in about 2.5 minutes. Then we increased our stop to there, and it kept on going. And I think 4R was right about there, and we put our stop there. And then we switched over to a 5-minute and eventually got trailed out. This one was about 2.25R, and all of this took about 30 minutes on the morning session. And then since then, it's been steadily going downhill. So we got trailed out at a great spot, but most importantly, we traded our plan. And we've been testing our plan and trading our plan, and the plan works. So if we can stick to the plan, then over the long run, we will be profitable traders. So the challenge is to stick to the plan, because we've tested the plan and we've proven the plan. And yesterday I showed you an article, just in case you didn't see the session yesterday. I showed you an article that says 7 steps to build your own trading strategy. So if you do those 7 steps, you'll have lots of data, lots of data, lots of testing on your strategy, so you will know if it works or not before you trade it with real money. And there's also a great article in here about thinking in stock market, about how to better immerse yourself into the lingo, the setups, the discussions, how to really get from watching the videos to trading in the market. So check out those 2 videos if you have not already. So Smith & Wesson doesn't look like it's going to give us any other entries. So for you guys that are here on the floor, if you see it, type it in, let me know, and I will go check it out. All right. ADP. Oh, here's another great trade. Yoav just destroyed this trade in our afternoon session. Gorgeous little bearish gap. It didn't gap a whole tremendous amount, but the location was just perfect, because this looks like little what is that? It looks like a bullish continuation pattern that turned into kind of a double top, and then it broke bearish, gapped bearish through the double top. So not a big tremendous move, but an important location. And it made a crazy fast downward thrust upon the open on the market. Came, pulled back, did this little sideways pattern, broke again, and Yoav called this out in the chat session and said, "Hey, this is what I'm trading." And we had a good 10 minutes to look at it and think about it. And I am prohibited by my coach and mentor and very good friend from making bearish trades, because I botched a couple last week and a half or so. But Yoav took this one and he made, let's see, I think he said 2.65R, because he sold half at 2R, and it got close to his 4R target, so he trailed out somewhere close to 4R. But at any rate, Yoav, amazing trade. It's not just because Yoav makes good trades, but he's incredibly consistent. So Yoav, thanks for sharing your trades with us. Love having you in the group. You the man. All right, we did have some discussion on BABA today. So BABA has had quite an interesting, I guess I was going to call it retest, but this is quite a bit more than a retest, it looks like. Based on this breakout, I was expecting it to come up and kind of roll over there at the pivot point, but it's done a whole lot more than that. So the question is, what is BABA going to do? We looked at some oscillators in the first part of the session. We looked at MACD stochastics and RSI. We were looking for some bullish divergence. RSI gave us just a little tiny bit of a something, but not really a whole bunch here. This is, I'm not even sure if I'd call that divergence. It's very, very slight if it is. But we did take a look at that. Now, one of the traders was suggesting a plan. Actually, it was Luis Marquez. And he says he does this all the time. It's something I have not done before, but some other traders like it. He suggests if this thing closes underneath the 10 moving average, tomorrow morning it'll retest, and he can buy the bounce, or excuse me, sell the bounce, I guess, and take it bearish on down to the low of today. So, wow, I have a white line on there. Interesting. At any rate, thanks for sharing your trade, Lewis. Let us know how that works out. Oh, you know what I'm seeing? I'm seeing a short-term little pivot point right in through here. It'd be interesting if it bounces off of that line, if that's what it's retesting. But at any rate, this thing is retesting in some form or another. Realize that anyone who has ever sold BABA is profitable on it. So they're just kind of buying to close. It did bounce back a little bit more than we expected. Questions, thoughts, additional views on BABA? All right. Let's take a look at the market indices, and then we'll go from there. What did the SPY do? A lot of these things made a little downward thrust today, and yeah, here's SPY. I think we can draw a new line on this, because if there's one thing we don't have enough of on this chart, we don't have enough lines. I might put that one there. So it opened below the 10, retested that 10, came down to the 20, but has been looks like it's been making a move up for most of the afternoon. Let's check it on how about a 30-minute chart? So here's the gap down very early in the morning, and then yeah, it looks like it's been going back up and trying to push back up. So just like we've seen most of February, any downward movements tend to be bounces. So we'll see what it does. If we get a bearish close below this trend line here, I bet you we come down to here. So I guess here, if you have shares of SPY, I might suggest something similar to a close below here. You might look at a protective put, and then a move down to here below that 50 SMA. Then I might consider just exercising a stop order and holding on to those puts, because it may continue downwards from there. Trying to think now if I want to move that stop up, but I think that's a decent plan. Where are the SMAs? They are way down there. So we might get another move back down to the SMA, and why not? We had this bullish move back here. As you can see, for about the last 6 months, SPY likes the 100 simple moving average. It goes up, sets a new high or two, and comes down and hits the 100 simple. It goes up, makes a new high, comes down, hits the simple moving average. Goes up, makes a new high, comes down, hits the simple moving average. This time it hit it 3 times. Comes up, we've made a new high. It just seems like a plan over and over again. Sometimes we talk about a sniper trade. And if this thing continues on like, oops, wrong tool. If the 100 simple keeps coming up here, and this just kind of trickles down and does this, this would be a great place to attempt a sniper trade if you have followed the 7 steps to building your own trading strategy and you know how to do your sniper trade. If you want to try it with fake money or just writing it down on paper, I say go for it. But that's kind of my plan. Based on today's candle, I honestly don't have a good read if the market is going to make a bearish move down to the 100 simple average, or if this is just part of a sidestep, a big sidestep continuation pattern, and it's just coming down here to touch the 20 moving average before it keeps on going. Let me turn on the EMAs. Now I know Jeremy Newsom is working on a theory that if it touches the 10 3 times, like once, twice, 3 times a lady, then on the 3rd time it tends to break through it. So that may be what we have here. So I think we've got a good chance of bouncing off the 20. But at any rate, I'm just going to flat out say it. I'm indeterminate on what this thing is going to do. But you know what? The good thing about being a real life trader is I don't have to know because I know how to protect myself. The protective put below this little pivot point here, a stop there. If I have not yet sold a covered call, actually yesterday was a great day to sell a covered call, but I would be looking at a 213, 214, and you might be looking out until March expiration or April on the 214. I don't hate that right there, because if this does roll down, it's going to be a long time before it gets back up there. And it seems like every time we do have a thrust up, we have some selling pressure. So whatever your trading plan says, follow it, because hopefully you've traded it, and that tends to be what works. Questions, thoughts, opposing views on SPY? Let's go on to DIA. So this had a very similar retest. This one actually went a little bit deeper than the S&P 500. So let's take a look at that. I love that little line. But this one also is bouncing off the 20. We, at least at this point, we got an hour to go, but don't yet have a close below this pivot point. So nothing really to get worried about now. I'm trying to think if I had shares where I would buy a protective put. Hit the 20 there. So it's not respecting the 10 very well. The 10 is a very short-term trade for this DIA. This is a good touch on the 20. I think if we do cross the 20, that would be a good place to buy a protective put. But I really don't think that's going to happen. Volume's declining. Man, this thing still has a good amount of bullish thrust to it. If I set this close to the 50, it's also close. It's just below this little peak back in here. So certainly if we do close, if we do get below this peak back at end of January, then we may be headed for a little bit more of a bearish move. I'd be surprised if it happens. I'd be surprised a lot. That's why I do mostly day trades. But the 100 SMA, just like on the SPY, 100 SMA seems like a great target if we blow through these points. And honestly, I don't think we do. I think we're just resting, getting ready for another move, just for kicks. Let's go over here to the Stokes from the RSI. Yeah, no, I don't see any real big bearish divergence. So yeah, I'd be surprised if we move down. I don't see anything bearish except for just a few moves down, and I think that could be a resting pattern, but protect yourself and put your stops and your protective puts in place if that's your plan. Questions, thoughts, opposing views on the Dow Jones? All right, so here is the NASDAQ, and ooh, feel like a broken record because this looks just like the others, except we have a bullish candle instead of a bearish candle. Let me go through and put this line like I did on all the others. This one's not even touching the 20. It's looks like it's bouncing off the 10. And let's realize what this hammer-ish looking candle means. It means it opened here during the day, kind of went up, came all the way back down, and then the buyers have come in at this level. The buyers have come in at the top of this white candle, right in through here, and have pushed it back up. Push it all the way back up to here, and then some beyond the open. So there's still lots of buyers that are looking to get into the market. And you know, it came up here, had a big move, hit this upper part of the channel, and it's just doing this little retrace. And I think we still have more bullish pressure to go. Let's see, I guess I drew the protective put and the stop for the SPY and the Dow Jones. I'm trying to figure out where I'd put it here. I think, yeah, again, I'd put the protective puts right below the 20. And I'd put my stop, let's see, I guess I'd put my stop below this pivot point You know what? I put my stop below this pivot point here and below the gap. If it closes this gap, then I would go ahead and put a stop. Now realize that this is a bullish candle here and it gaps up. This is a retest gap. So there is a good chance that we roll down here and retest this gap. I did not see that on the DIA or the SPY. Yeah, I'm not seeing that there. I think this may just be a retest of testing this old resistance as new support. And on SPY, yeah, same thing. We had real strong resistance here. Held there, we broke through it, tested it once, tested it twice, tested it 3 times a lady, and then we may go up some more before testing it again. So yeah, my confidence is high on a bullish move, but again, don't bet your retirement account on my hunch. So use your protective stops, use your protective puts, and protect your account. Play defense. Many times, especially in stock trading, the best offense is a good defense. So play good defense with your money and rock it out. Rock it like a rock. Rock it like a rock star. Rock it like a rock. Okay, so this is the Russell 2000, and it really is kind of the same story, although not as quite as convincing as some of the others, just based on the charts. But yeah, I'd put my protective put if we get another move down there, and a stop. I'd put it below this pivot point, and yeah, a good target is the 100 simple moving average. Ooh, that would be a nice little move. I'm wondering if, yeah, if we get a close below where the stop value is, you might just turn this upside down and call for a bearish move. I don't know. We've been so bullish. That would take some consideration before we decide that. So we'll leave it like this. Any questions, thought, opposing view? All right. Luis Marquez says NSR looks interesting. So let's take a look at NSR. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, this thing is really fallen through quite a pivot point here. I love the way it retested it recently. And this almost looks kind of like what I expect the market to do. It broke off, kind of doing these higher highs, comes back, retesting it. It may come up, although I don't expect this from the market. But yeah, it's a little bit late in the day, at least for me, to be placing day trades, but certainly has been volatile. Let's learn more about this stock. Daily volume of 1.3 million. It's got a huge gap. You know what? If we could get a credit spread up in here, I'd even say over 27. Do a bear call spread up in here. That might be something to take a look at. And where is options? Options, please. Those are the calls. And what I say, I thought I said 270. 27. 27 might be nice. So if I sold the 27, yeah, no, there's no money. No money. What's open interest? Open interest isn't completely horrible. But it looks like we'd have to get down here around. Yeah, we'd have to get, yeah, no money there on NSR. So cool. Lewis, if you have any more questions for me on NSR, type them in and I'll be happy to take a look at that for you. I want to go back and take a look at the SPY, see if I would do a bear call spread. And I really wouldn't, because I think we may go back up. So would I do a credit spread? And if I did a credit spread, I'd want to be down here below the stop, and I don't think we're going to have any money down there. But let's just take a look on the SPY. So I'd be wanting a bull put spread down below 205. So if wait, what did I just say? Yeah, I'd be wanting to do 205, 204, and there's just going to be no money in those. So if I sold, talking out loud here, so if I sold the 205, I could see, yeah, there's just not enough money. And I think it's just because this thing's going so sideways. Anybody want to do a bear call spread up here above SPY? There's just not much money in it. We might even take a look at this tomorrow. You know what? I think that's what we need. We need one more candle that's either up above this or down below this to tell us which direction is. And we might do some more of these tomorrow. Yeah, I'm not going to find anything on this. So let's keep going. I know Netflix looks interesting today. And we were talking about that yesterday. Oh man, that sucker's bounced too. When we were looking at this at the during the middle of the program, this thing had filled a body down here. I mean, it was looking bearish as could be. However, this is looking like it may end up being some sort of hammer candle. So would I move my protective stop? If you bought a protective put, if you've already bought it, I certainly would not. I would hold, if you have already bought it, I would hold on until we break above this pivot point up here. If you have not yet purchased one, I would not purchase it unless we come down, unless we make a lower low. So if we have an intraday low below the wick of this candle, then I'd go ahead and buy your protective put. Otherwise, I'd leave the plan as we have it. And if we get a close below this protective put line here, then that looks like this double top, or actually, is that a head and shoulders? This double top, head and shoulder-ish pattern up here, I would then be a little bit more bearish than bullish. Look at this interesting pivot point over here. Now I can draw a new horizontal line on our chart. And yeah, I like that even more now. So I'm going to move our protective put down just a skidgen. And yeah, if we get it below this pivot point here, then I'd buy a protective put. If you already have one, no worries. Hang on to it. And those are my thoughts on Netflix. Now, question is, do we want to do a bear call spread up here? The lowest I would do it would be 487, and even that kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies. I'd really love to get like 490-ish. I think Netflix trades in $5 increments, but maybe not on the weekly. So let's go take a look-a-see. Cheryl is being a real-life trader. Have a good one, Cheryl. So what did I say? 487 is the lowest I'd be, and 490 is where I really want to be. And what are my choices? I'm going to do a bear call spread. Well, I'm going to do a 47.50. Oh. Angie, I'm going to ask your advice on this one, what you think. We could do a 47.50, 487.50 bear call spread. So we could, oh no, that's the last. It would be, sorry, I'm not as, this is looking less and less lovely now. All right, so if we did 38, so this is 38 to 55, so we could probably get executed at 42 cents here, and we could get executed, that's just such a horrible word. We could get filled for 42 cents here And okay, yeah, never mind. I was looking at this last price, and that's just not going to work. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be enough money because we would have to ask for a good credit fill. We have a $2.50 risk, so I'd want at least 15-cent reward, and that's not going to happen at 487.50, 490, and that's about as tight as I'd go. Angie, am I reading this right? I'm not as used to the Yahoo chart as I am some of the others, but these are calls. Yeah, I'd sell it to 38, I'd buy it to 38, but I could probably get 43 cents there and maybe 33 cents. So you might get a 10-cent fill on a $2.50 risk. That just doesn't sound juicy to me. Especially
No, I
that
don't see
tight.
money in it.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth the risk. I don't think it's worth it. So Netflix off the table. Let's just keep on going. Baba, we looked at, didn't really see much of an option for I get it, didn't see much of an option for a spread there. That's so not funny, Brad. Not funny. Oh, love all my Pepto-Bismol lines. But yes, this does look remarkably familiar. Really didn't get much of a any kind of clue as to what Apple wants to do based on today's candle. So the plan is pretty much the same. Now the question is, would I want to do a bear call spread at 134? That's pretty tight. What I think Apple may do, if it has a big bullish move, it's going to hit resistance at this high. So let's give it some room. I'd say 135 for a bear call spread. I don't think there's going to be any premium up there. If we did a put spread, I'd want it to be down here in the gap. So let's look at, I wonder if I could do a 125. 125 would be there. That's not horrible. But it's also not a good sign when you're talking about making a trade and your description of it is, it's not horrible. You know, if you're risking your hard-earned money, you want to be, oh my gosh, that's awesome. I can't wait to just get bejesus all over it. I want this trade to be just, I wanted to trade the bejesus out of it, and there's bejesus just like all over the place. All right, let's see what we got on Apple. Okay, so pull it over the option chain. Again, our choices are 125. There's got to be some crazy premium there. And I think 135. I think now in the market, it's just, it's all about timing. And our weekly Wednesdays is just not going to give us the juiciest of trades. So we're looking at a 4 and a 305. Those are calls. Those are in the money calls. So for calls, I want 135. Let's go down here. 135, 2 cents and 2 cents. That is no money. No money. And over here, we're looking at 10 cents and 6 cents. So you might get 5%. No, you're not. You won't get, you could sell the 125 put for 10 cents, buy the 124 for 6 cents. That's a 4-cent reward before commissions on a dollar risk, and is a 4% return worth that risk? You got the 10 in your favor, you got the 20 in your favor, you got this gap in your favor. Let's go look at the indicators. Indicators aren't telling us much of anything. Of course, they're not telling us not to do anything. I just give this trade a big solid ugh. I mean, if you're desperate to do a bull put spread on this, you should not be. Okay, no, I'm not going to do it. Thank you, Angie, for helping me talk this through and talking me out of it. By the way, guys, if you are trading and I would highly recommend getting a trading partner. Someone like, I've got Angie, I've got Newsome, and of course I do the morning trading floor. I've got all those people. But if you're thinking about a trade, bounce it off with someone. Obviously, the best thing to do is to have a rock star solid trading plan. And if it meets your plan, you do it because you've tested your plan, you've got lots of data, and you know that your plan's going to work. But you know, when in doubt, there was a time this morning where I was unsure of a stop placement because it looked like it might have been making a lower high against me, and I was trying to decide if this one little skinny wick would be considered a swing low. And one person that I know is really good at stop placement is Cheryl. So I was asking Cheryl, is that a swing low, yes or no? And we were kind of talking about it. There's lots of other amazing traders that were helping us figure it out. And fortunately, the thing shot up in our favor, and then we could very clearly call it a swing low. But it's good to have a trading partner. Very good to have a trading partner. So Linderman, Justin Linderman and I send a email to each other each month to say, excuse me, how we did in the previous month and why we did it and how we can get better. And so Linderman's kind of my accountability partner. And of course, I've got Angie and Jeremy and all of you wonderful traders on the floor. So thank you guys for trading with me. I love it. Okay, Amazon's rolling up here. It has bumped up against this pivot point, and it's just getting tighter and tighter. So as the words of my awesome mentor would say, this thing's either going to go up or it's going to go down. Yesterday we talked about how this thing's kind of running out of steam, and so basically what I'm saying is it's getting really tight. I don't want to use the word squeeze because that has a very technical definition. Actually, that might be doing that. I don't think it's going to be a squeeze though. Oh, yes it is. So we got a squeeze coming on with the Bollinger. See how narrow these things have gotten so suddenly? This thing's going to do something quickly, I believe. The squeeze that I was kind of talking about was, see how the 10's coming up here and it's pushing on it? Support is getting close. Resistance is getting close. There's not as much room in here, and this thing's just getting compressed. And I think it's going to pop soon. And when it does, I think we're going to have it may even gap out of this. Earnings on Amazon. Angie, any clue about when earnings on Amazon are? I don't think they're going to be any time soon.
I can look it up. Let me see.
If you would, I would greatly appreciate that. If they're going to happen within a week or two, then we might start planning on that.
April 30th.
April 30th. Okay, so way out here. So we're going to do something before that. I'm almost thinking bracket trade. Although I really would like this thing to break bullish. So I'm seeing okay guys, here's what I'm seeing on Amazon. I'm seeing some support coming in and giving this lots of bullish pressure. I'm seeing a Bollinger Band squeeze coming in on this. It's still above the 20, so again, that's slightly more bullish pressure. If we do a squeeze, we'd have to do one entry way down here, maybe down there. If it does pop bearish, it's going to be a quick move. And I think yesterday we were taking a look at this and we did see some bearish divergence on the RSI, and there that is. So I don't think I would trade this thing bullish. And I just said I wouldn't trade it bearish. Ah, dang nabbit. So it's given us some confusing, it's given us contradicting indicators. All of this looks very bullish to me, but the stochastics says not to go bullish. So let's think about this. It has bounced off the 10 EMA once, twice, 3 times a lady. I'm almost tempted to come up here and look at a bear call spread. on this. Lewis, Angie, will you remind me to take a look at BMY after this one for Lewis? I think
Sure.
I would. How big of a bump up would I want? Ugh. I can't place a bear call spread anywhere because of all this bullish pressure on the 10 EMA. The divergence on the stochastics doesn't mean this has to break bearish. It will break bearish at some point, but that's kind of saying whatever goes up will come down. Obviously, it's got to do it sometime. So unfortunately, guys, I don't have a trade for you on Amazon. If you do trade it bearish, you know, make it a swing trade or a day trade. If you do take it bullish, be real quick because the stochastics say don't go bullish, but everything I'm seeing on the chart here says don't go bearish. So anybody got a suggestion for a setup on Amazon? Because I'm just not seeing it. If you guys in the room have a setup on Amazon, go ahead and type it in and share it with me. Otherwise, I'm going to keep it on. So Bristol Myers Squibb Company trades 5 million in a day. Does have a nice little breakout here. Let's see if we can get a little bit more data on our chart. That is nice and bullish. We may be getting towards the end of our run. See a big move there, kind of another move there, down. And this may be the last one. See this big gap right there? When you have big gaps kind of in the middle of a bullish trend, for me, that's kind of like a halfway point. So if I were to put a Fibonacci on there, that would be about my midpoint. This would be my 62, and this would be about my 58, which means we may be getting pretty close to a target up here pretty soon. I am not very experienced with Fibonacci's just because most of my trading is a little bit shorter term. And I don't know, Fibonacci is a great and wonderful tool, very mathematically based, which I love. I don't know, just haven't gotten into it. But let's see, we can draw some lines on here, and that usually helps. I'm going to put one there. Definitely going to put one down here with all of this stuff. Stuff being the technical word. And the question is how to trade this breakout. After a big breakout like that, I would bet $1 to a donut we're going to get some sort of retest. I'm guessing we are way outside the Bollinger Band, and we are outside the Bollinger Band, which makes me think we're going to do a retest even more. I don't know if the oscillators have caught up. Oscillators are going to be pegged. We know they're pegged. This is interesting. Well, let's see. What is interesting? Oh, my brain was thinking of something, but my mouth didn't know how to say it. So we have this, and we have that. That is divergence, which played out here. So that's done and over with. Yeah, I think the way to play this, it'd be to, if this were me and my trading plan, okay, I'm thinking of a couple of different ways to trade this, but all I'm doing is drawing Pepto-Bismol lines everywhere. Pepto. Okay, so if you are an option trader, there could be a nice, there could be a retest, and no telling how long that retest could take. We are miles away from the EMAs, and I'm sure we are, goodness gracious, a long ways from the SMAs. So I think I would wait to see if this retest happens. If we get a bullish play somewhere in here close to this line when the 10 EMA comes up, as this 10 EMA comes up, and it's going to come up really fast, something like that, look for a bullish bounce right in that area, and you might even be able to get a 2-to-1 reward risk ratio to the top of this candle. That would certainly be a play I would look for. I think that would be a good play to do with options. Once you see that, if you are a shares trader, you might get in another 15 minutes and set your stop. You may set your stop. Okay, if you bought shares here, I would put a protective stop if it comes down and closes or has an authoritative move below that line. And I would have my stop somewhere down in here, kind of below that stuff, but it may bounce there. Show me my EMAs, TradingView. Yeah, I think your stop would either have to go where that protective put is, or your stop would go, let's call it there, below this breakout, or before this resistance there, because I think that might be a good place. Angie, would you have your stop there, or would you move it up tighter to the bottom of these wicks? So I'm thinking about Bristol Myers. I have a real strong reason to think it's going to retest. You know what? I don't think I'd buy now, even if you are a shares trader. The advantage of holding shares is that they don't decay over time like an option does. So yeah, I think even if I did have shares, I would not do this. If I did buy shares, I would do that. I would have a stop there. But my preferred plan would be to wait for this thing to roll down, retest that, and then keep on going. Cool. Questions, thoughts, opposing views on BMY. Eulette says, did we find a bottom on BABA? I don't think so, Eulette. And here's the reason why. If there was, I really got to learn, just quit drawing Pepto-Bismol lines everywhere. Eulette, if you have sold this, if you had sold BABA anywhere in through here or here, if you sold it there, or there, your target would have been right down here, close to this pivot area where we got to 2 days ago, maybe the all-time low, which is here, but your target was certainly down in here. So this may have been traders that got home from work yesterday and said, holy smokers, look how low BABA is. It's never been this low. If there's ever a time to close out my bearish position, it's now. And so they bought to close it out. And that's what may have caused this push up today. Now, it could also be that someone said, oh my gosh, I've always wanted my whole entire life, at least for the last 9 months, I've wanted to buy shares of BABA, but never could. Well, now it's at an all-time low, so it's a value. I think, Eulette, if this is the bottom, we're going to get something kind of like this. I think we're going to go sideways for a little bit. You know, we'll get a few lower wicks. I would just be shocked if the bottom is 2 candles. I think that's what I'm trying to. I think we may come up, down. We may come down. I know Lewis is planning on taking this bearish if it closes below the 10 EMA tomorrow morning, gaps down, rolls back up, retests that, and then continues on down. I know that sounds like a long, complex plan. It makes me go cross-eyed, but Lewis says it's in his trading plan. He's tested it. He does it regularly, and it's a good plan for him. So, Lewis, I really appreciate you sharing your plan, sharing your ideas. I love all you guys when you share your plan, share your ideas, because it helps me grow as a trader, and I know it helps other people. So, yeah, Eulette, I also would expect to see some sort of bullish divergence, and I'm not seeing it. So I would want to see some higher low. I would want to see the stock make sideways or lower lows, and the RSI look a little bit more exaggerated than that. I want something greater than that for bullish divergence. Does that answer your question, Yulette? It obviously could happen. The stock market, anything can happen. But for me to make a bullish trade on BABA, I need to see more evidence than what I'm seeing right here on the chart. Great question, though. I know that's been through everyone's mind. It's been through my mind. So thank you for asking that. Cool. So there's BABA. What else we got? Do we look at Google yet? Goog. Oops, that's not Google. That's Goog. Man, I'm kind of bummed that I'm not going to get to place any credit spreads today. See, if Google had given me a bigger upper wick, then I could have done I might have done a credit spread. But yeah, I still like this, what we've drawn in pink, and it looks like Google likes it too, because we said it may go up another day or two and go sideways, which is exactly what this thing is doing. But I think this one, just a lot like BMY, it's going to break through this and retest just a little bit. Maybe even stronger than what we've drawn here. Look at these breakthrough here's. When it broke up and made when it broke through this area, it just kind of retested. Came up here, broke up, and it retested. And that's kind of what I'm expecting here. It broke up, and I think it's going to retest a little bit. How much it's going to retest, I don't know. But realize when you get going this fast and you get lines this steep, that can't happen. That's just not sustainable. I was about to call that parabolic. I think I am going to call that parabolic. Usually when something's parabolic, it kind of goes off and then it ramps up like that. But this one isn't really doing that per se, but holy smokes, that's a really steep ascent, especially compared to some of these other bullish moves we've seen over here. Look at this one. See over here when it went up that fast and that. See how the angle on those, see how similar those are? That's why I'm expecting a retest. I don't know if it's going to come all the way back down to here. It might, it could. But why do I think that pivot point's going to hold? I think this pivot point is a lot stronger than some of these others, based on that there and based on that peak there. So I'm still sticking with our original thought. I think it's going to follow the pink line. The question is, can we place a trade? If I were to play a put spread, it would have to be below this down here. I don't think I'm going to have a 100 or 200 to work with. Ew! Look at that, Angie. I got a 200 simple average to work with. That's at 559, which is teasing me by a couple of pennies. The EMAs, that would be also the 10. All right, just for giggles, I'm going to see if there's any premium below 559, but I would be like so incredibly shocked, dude. Like, I was totally talking like a Valley girl like earlier in the session, and actually you guys didn't like that. I got like massive threats on that, so yeah. By the way, I want to say thanks to Sharon Moloff, not my cell phone yesterday, giving me a call. Just warning to everyone else, if you call me, you may get the wonderful chance of having a 3 or 4 minute conversation with my 4-year-old daughter, like Cheryl did. What was I saying? I was saying bull put spread below 559. And I could sell the 557.50 for 0 cents, and I could buy that for 10 cents, and that would be actually losing money. So we'll just skip that. But I do love the 200 coming in right in through there. I'm thinking about a longer term, maybe bull put spread. You know, no. Gee, I'm being silly. The time to do a put spread is when this thing rolls down and then goes back up. That is the time to do a put spread. Yes. Okay, cool. Thank you, Angie. Martin Reyes says, David yells, mute, hit the mute button. He's making funny voices again. Martin Reyes says, what about a 590, 592 bear call spread for this week? So 590, 592. I'll go take a look. I would be shocked and amazed if there is premium up there. Now, one thing I don't do, Martin, is I don't place a call, or I don't place a spread in the direction of the trend. So right now, this trend is bullish, and it's getting faster bullish. So to place a spread up here, to me, that's kind of like playing chicken. That's like there's a highway where cars are doing 60 miles an hour. I'm not going to go stand right at that corner hoping that someone makes the turn. I'm going to stand on the inside of the turn while they're going away from me. And actually, that reminds me of race car driving, because sometimes when you go out to the track, you spend some time driving, and you spend some time being a spotter with a radio in your hand or a flag or something. And if cars are going around a corner, you usually stand on the back side of that corner to see if they did not make the corner. Then you want to call on the radio or wave your flag to slow down other race car drivers so they don't come and plow into you or to plow into whoever just spun out. And that's kind of what this feels like to me. If you want someone that's standing on the inside of the corner where cars are turning away from you, not turning towards you, so to speak. And actually, one of my first times out on the racetrack, I wipe out, or I'm going through this corner, and I'm going probably about 90 miles an hour, and the back end kicks out, and I get some oversteer, and I end up stopping sideways just a little bit past the apex of the corner, right where all the other drivers are. And by the time I regain my senses, I see cars like turning, swerving, flying off the race track into the grass to try and avoid me, and these cars are flying past you at 90 miles an hour, and they're missing me by inches. So I had a little bit of a pucker factor right there, and that was at Putnam Park track, actually just down the street from Indianapolis here. At any rate, I hope my wife doesn't hear that part of the conversation, because my dream right now is to make a lot of money trading, pay off the house, fund my kids' college fund, and then buy a BMW M3, because those are ridiculously fast now, and take that racing. Anyways, all right, cool. Thanks, Martin. Appreciate that question. I love it when you guys ask questions. Lewis says ANF is at a target. Yes, it is at the low of the day. So if you were trading ANF, day trading, it certainly is at a target for the day trade. It bounced. It looks like it's crushing through that again, but you got 20 minutes. So yeah, I'm not sure if you want to place anything else. Let's see if I can find any targets through here. There may be a target way past. Wow, it hasn't been this low in a long time. Ew, thank you for bringing that up. Because, my friends, what kind of gap is this? Let me make that bigger, because I know on your screen that gets you. What kind of gap is that? You have a bearish candle there and a gap's down. That is a retest gap, absolutely. So what does a retest gap mean? A retest means it's going to come up and do something like that. Can anyone tell me if this thing has been in a bearish move for like a couple of years, maybe? So we may be getting an entry on, well, maybe not years, but, well, maybe. This thing's been on a pretty bearish tear for a while. So Abercrombie and Fitch, you may be getting an entry on this retest. I'd take it on down. Oh, those Pepto-Bismol lines. You gotta love them. And no, you don't have to love them. At any rate, beautiful. I kind of like that. Yoav says GS BP. By the way, Martin Reyes and Smita, I haven't gotten to talk to you yet. Beautiful answer on that question. Wonderful. Thank you for chiming in. Yoav is suggesting a bull put spread on GS. Let's go take a look at it. GS, Goldman Sachs. And this thing is certainly doing a little bit of sideways, kind of poking around, taking its time. And Yoav is suggesting a 185. Oh, Yoav. I told Yoav earlier that if there was a way for him to trade my money, I would let him do it. And this is another reason why. Check out this, folks. Yoav says 185, 182.50. So you have all the EMAs. You've got there is certainly a pivot point right in through there based on this pattern. What else you got? You've got a reasonable, actually I want this one. You've got a nice bounce off with this wick and the close of that candle. We are into this gap area over here. You're going to have some support from here. There's all kinds of support between us and this trade. I would love it if I could get a 100 or simple moving average in there. Oh, yumminess, yumminess. Let's see if the indicators are telling us anything to do something or not to do something. And yeah, dude. All right, let's go check out the premium. I like it, Yoav. Okay, so we're talking about a 185, 182.50 bull put spread. And I think you said March, not this week, but next week. So let's just check out what we could do for this week. It looks like there's not a whole lot of yummy options on this one. 185, that'd be a 9 to 13. You could probably get this 182.50. You could probably buy that for 10 cents. You could probably buy this one for 15 cents. So that's a 5-cent reward on a $2.50 risk. And I say, yay, hey, no way. Okay, who knows what that's from? Yay, hey, no way. Anybody got little kids and watch Jake and the Neverland Pirates? Okay, anyways. Disney cartoon. 185, 182.50. You get 68 cents for that. 49. So you would receive 68 cents for selling the 185. You would have to purchase the 182.50 for 49 cents. But there's one trick that I like to do that I was taught that says you can typically go about 30% into what's called the spread. So if I am a Chicago Board of Exchange trader on the trader floor, and I was taught this trick by a trader on the floor, he said, you know, some of these guys are paying $30,000, $40,000 a month to be able to be a exchange trader on the floor, and that's a big burden because obviously if they don't make their rent, they have to dig out of their family funds. They lose their job basically. So they're motivated to make sales here. And he was saying that if there is, if someone wants to ask you 30% into your commission, then they take it in a heartbeat. So what does the commission mean? The commission means the payment that the Chicago Board of Exchange traders receive is the spread. So the spread here is 82 cents minus 68 cents. That's 14 cents. So if they sell this, they're expecting someone else to buy it here, and they put 14 cents in their pocket for helping that exchange take place. They would much rather be guaranteed 10 cents to make that exchange, which is about 30% into 14 cents, then they would hold out for 14 cents. So if I offered them, hey, instead of selling me this for 68 cents, sell it to me for 72 cents, there's a good chance they would do that in a heartbeat. And the same thing on buying this 182.50. So instead of buying this one for 49 cents, I want to buy it for 45 cents. Again, there's a good chance they would do that in a heartbeat. So instead of this being a 19-cent gain, I could probably add 8 cents and make it 27 cents. I could probably get 27 cents on this fill. So instead of 19 cents, I'd get 27 cents. And I just turned about a 7% return into an 11% return. Does that make sense? Steven knows about Jake. Martin's suggesting 34 cents. 68 cents minus 49 cents. I'm not the way I'm doing the math in my head, that I'm not sure you could get it all the way to 34 cents. Yeah, I'm thinking a 27-cent risk on this one. And tell you what, I'm not sure how we would do that, but I will make that official. GS 185, 182.50, bull put spread. Oh, let's see. I got to look at this again. That's not this Friday. That's next Friday. It's way down there. My line in the sand would be this pink line. My line in the sand would be the 50, or would it be the 200 or the 100? The 100 SMA or the 50 EMA. Angie, what do you think? I would do it in a heartbeat if it were this Friday, but the fact is it's got to go all the way out to here. I do have this trend line coming up. I haven't done spreads in a while because I've been day trading so much. And I want to move on to gaps. Go ahead and start typing in what you think is gapping. So traders are saying they can get 30 cents for that. 34 cents. That looks juicy. I just wish there wasn't so much time on it. I'm pretty conservative when it comes to gaps, just because, on credit spreads, just because I've had so many go against me. So I'm going to hold off on this one. I'm going to hold off on the floor for that one. I do like it. There is a chance that this thing rolls over, but if I were doing that, I'd put my line in the sand. Let's see, the 100 moving average is 186. The 50 moving average, the 50 EMA is at 186.76. Yeah, so if it crosses, call it 186. Let's just call it 186.75. If this thing crosses 186.75, I would close it out. Questions, thoughts, opposing view? UF says he's already set an alert for 186.70. Yeah, go Angie.
I was just going to say that from my credit spread conservative perspective, I really wish the top leg was the 182.50. I'm sure there's no money down that far, but I'm seeing that if you put your cursor there, that I'm seeing this gap back January. Oops, your screen went away. 182.50. No, there's not. There's 6 not enough
cents.
Money in that
You might be able to squeeze 10 cents out of that, but yeah.
I mean, personally, I would do that one and take less of a premium, especially because it's 2 weeks out. But that's just my preference.
Yeah, like Angie and I have gotten hammered. I can tell Angie's gotten hammered on a spread that goes against her. I know I have.
Yeah.
In 2013, was it? I don't know, maybe 2014. I had about 4 credit spreads that went against me that wiped out my profits from about 20 credit spreads. And so 1 or 2 of these things going against you just can wipe out months and months of profits. So that's the plan. Appreciate you guys sharing. Yoav And yeah, Yoav, keep me up to date on that and let me know how it goes. And Martin, you guys remind me tomorrow and Friday to take a look, and we'll keep that one up to date. Maria says CSIQ and Joy. And Maria, I can't read that first ticker. Is that CIEN?
That's what I'm seeing.
Okay.
CIEN.
So it looks like there's going to be earnings announcement coming up. We do have a very nice pivot point coming up right there. Let's see, the high of this candle is 3108. Guys, start typing in those tickers you want me to take a look at for gaps tomorrow. What I'm thinking I'm going to do is I may talk about it. I may type a little bit, but I'm going to do kind of what I did yesterday. After the session, I'll go through and I will I'll publish them after the session. If it gaps down, a gap below here would certainly be a pivot point. That'd be a retest. I think I want it to get below there before really taking it bearish. Yeah, I want it to clear that to go bearish. Yeah, I like that one much better. All right, so CSIQ tomorrow morning. The way we'll be trading it in the morning session is if it gaps above 3109, then we will do a gap and go. Oh, I wonder if this could possibly be setting up for a perfect gap and go. It's still got a ways to go. There's a chance CSIQ could be a perfect gap and go. It's got to make some moves though. There's one thing I saw that makes me hesitate, but it might be a perfect gap and go. If it does, you know, I will be all over it looking for an entry. There may be a target somewhere up here. If this thing gaps, yeah, that's something. That's something. I'll have to watch out for these pivot points tomorrow. I would love it if it gapped above the light blue line, the middle one, and that would be a target. Actually, I'll draw that one tomorrow. I would love it if it gapped above this one, but in there is also a great retest gap. If it gaps down here, you might take it bearish. Watch out for the 50. See you, Yoav. So that's CSIQ. Let's see. And the next one is Joy. I saw. I got 4 minutes. Joy. If it gaps above, oh gosh, that would just be amazing if Joy were to gap above 45.40. Otherwise, it would also be amazing if it gaps below 40.70. If you guys want me to go back over any of these, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to try and hit as many as I can before I run out of time here. And like I said, I will publish all of these. So if you're trading it, if you're following it on TradingView, you will get an email. I did hit record. Had one of those moments. If this gap's above 21, if Sienna Corp, CIEN gaps above 21.21, I'll take it bullish. For a bearish gap, I'm seeing lots and lots and lots of congestion. I don't see a very clear pivot point for a retest gap. So if it gaps down, I'm probably just going to ignore it on CIEN. ACHN, Actelion Pharmaceuticals. Let's take a look at it on a daily. I'm going to take this line off of there. If Actelion Pharmaceuticals gaps below 1063, if it gaps below 1061, that would be a gap and go that I'm not just totally in love with. Maybe I am. Yeah, I think taking it bearish if it gaps down that far is okay, but if it makes it to this pivot, this is the target. If it makes it to there, it's done. It's going to bounce. If it gaps below that, just based on how bullish the market's been lately, I think it may go up. Now, if this thing gaps up, oh man, if this thing were to gap up above that, that would be an incredibly bullish retest gap. That would be absolutely yummy. Costco. Angie, can you? I'm going to ask you for what the ticker might be for after Costco. I got a little bit of cloudiness on my chart here. If this thing were to gap below these wicks, would I take it bearish? Probably not, because this thing, every time this thing touches the 50, it goes bullish. So for me to take this thing bearish, I'm trying to see where. I don't think I would take Costco bearish. If it gaps, I don't really like Costco gapping tomorrow. That's not a bad pivot point there. It's not great either. I think I'd really wanted to see it get above that pivot point. Yeah, so if Costco goes above 150.96, I would go bullish on it. I've looked at ACHN, I've looked at CSQ, I've looked at Costco. Any other gaps you guys want me to take a look at for tomorrow? Type them in. CSIQ I really like, especially if this thing goes bullish. Kind of reminds me of Amazon. I'd love it if Amazon gapped up tomorrow. Joy, this one I think is my favorite, just because of how strong these pivots are. If we were to have a gap up tomorrow, oh my gosh, that would just be a gorgeous, beautiful gap and go. I wonder where my simples are. Simples, oh, simple moving average would be your target. Oh, that's sweet, that's lovely, that's beautiful, it's awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here. Life is amazing. I wake up just about every night thinking, oh my gosh, I get to do the trading floor tomorrow. So Jeremy, thank you for going on vacation and giving me this wonderful opportunity to work with the traders. I love it. Thank you guys. Please be appreciative of your blessings. There's 2 billion people with no food today and about a little over 6 billion people that don't have access to meat today. So whatever you're about to complain about, just think about how many people would switch places with you in a heartbeat. Our life is awesome. Trading is awesome. You guys are awesome. Everything is awesome. Go forth and live, trade on logic.